विद्यानन्देश्वरसमारम्भां नित्यानन्देश्वरिमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. I welcome you all with my love and respects. I welcome all the devotees, disciples, Sarvanyapeta Yajamans, everyone sitting with us all over the world through Nithyananda TV and Facebook Live, YouTube Live and two-way video conferencing. I welcome every one of you with my love and respects. I am continuing on length dimension, helping, supporting new species to manifest the various things related to length dimension and entangling the Nithyananda Yogam participants also with the length dimension. Yesterday there were a lot more breakthroughs. So nice to see the entangling happening. Today I will be making the Nithyananda Yogam participants manifest the same power. See, I wanted to explain few things, basic things about this length. I was sharing yesterday about that I was excited more because through this I can lead people to depth dimension. I was looking at only depth. See, what is the depth, I'll give you some example. When people bring food, I do not enjoy the taste of the food. I enjoy the attitude and the love with which the food is brought. That is what makes me joyful. Otherwise, there is no pleasure. Same way when these kids jump, dance, I do not enjoy their steps or the physical movements or their dimensions, the bliss they carry, the attitude they carry, the cognition they carry. Swamiji is seeing. I'm dancing for him. That cognition is what I enjoy. Understand the depth. There's a big difference. A man who is length-based will enjoy only the dimensions of the person who is dancing, or the dress of the person who is dancing, or the movements of the person who is dancing. If somebody is based on the breath, they will enjoy the emotions expressed, the attitudes shown, bhava, the art part of it. A length-based person will enjoy the sexual part of it, the physical dimension. The breath-based person will enjoy the art form of it, part of it, the emotion. The depth-based person enjoys the cognition with which they dance. Understand, that is the difference between the length, breadth and depth. I am excited because I am going to make these kids materialize, teleport. Understand, listen carefully. When they move to the length dimension, they can change anything they want. They can actually physically play with things, physically act with things. So even though I am excited about the depth, because I think from the beginning I am a doer. Even in me, when these powers started manifesting, the first question I asked Vibhudanandapuri, actually these powers started manifesting in me much before I even had Darshana for Anugirugishwara. Arunagiri Yogeshwara gave only the depth related powers. These length related powers have started manifesting in me. Even Vibhudananda Puri and Yogananda Swami, they manifested it. These powers in me. And the first, when it started manifesting, the first question I asked Vibhudananda Puri, what is the use? She got really annoyed. Because these powers come after 25-30 years of practice. And she was screaming, even after 40 years of tapas, only once in a while when I am in samadhi, I can manifest these powers. You fellow, you are casually playing with all these powers and you are asking me, what is the use? I said, no, I am not disrespecting, but what's the use? Then she said, whenever she feels that I am very difficult to handle and she can't handle me, she will send me to somebody. She will say, go and ask Visari Swami. That's all. Visari Swami, anything you ask, BD only, that's all. He will never answer. He will never open the mouth. Just go on. Hey, get the next one. And he'll pick up the next BD. And it's very difficult to get answer from him. And it means I know that that question cannot be answered at that moment, or I cannot be handled at that moment. That's all is the answer. I'll just keep quiet. So when I asked this question also, I did not get any answer. They just know I cannot be handled at that moment. And she said, go and ask Visari Swami. Sometimes with Visari Swami it is too funny. Yogi Ramsunaratkumar, he will do all that and I will ask question and he will be smoking. After 3-4 hours I will again ask question. He will be smoking the BD. After 2-3 hours again I will ask the question. Hey, pour the tea in the coconut, that he will have a coconut shell in which he used to drink. Pour the tea in that. That is the answer. That is the answer I will get. Nothing more. Nothing can move. Nothing will happen. He will just say, hey, pour the tea. Tea utrade. In very colloquial Tamil. He doesn't speak fluent Tamil, so he will tell in very colloquial Tamil. Tea utra. Otherwise, somebody else, some other devotees come. He will complain to them. Ayyo, ivana vechittu maaradikka mudiyala. Ivana koottu poda pogumbodhu. Means he will say, in colloquial Tamil, that I can't handle this fellow. When you are going, take this fellow and go. And he will tell. Only Arunagiri Yogeshwara can solve. If only he was able to handle me. He was able to handle all the questions. Or immediately experientially able to give answers. I remember once very clearly. Visari Swami was sitting and fanning. He used to have a fan, hand fan, made of palm leaf. And I don't know how many of you were close enough to him. I've been very close enough to him. And he will be sitting and fanning. Once like this, some question I was asking. Finally, he got so fed up. He said, my father has to come directly to answer all your questions and problems. He will come. Go. In few days, I had darshan of Arunagiri Yogeshwara. He said it in such a way, only my father can handle you. We all can't handle you. Only my father has to come to handle you, fellow. Only he can solve. and answer all your questions? Yes. It's actually a deity of him, not his original photo. I know him too well. It is his statue. This photo is his statue. It's not. In the depth dimension, all these informations becomes like a wax with which you can play. As on now, it is only information. You can't play with it. Means you can be genius. You can be a great scientist, inventor, discoverer, or whatever. All these things. Yesterday, I was seeing kids were going crazy with all kinds of questions and answers. Literally, the courtyard was like a congregation of grand scientists and mathematicians and whatnot. Some kids have written IIT examination and got 99.5 mark. Actually, yesterday they started writing like a CAT, SAT, JEE examinations. Straight. I thought I'll make a program. Mathematics, alpha to omega within 10 days. Maths PhD guarantee or money back. Either you go with maths PhD or money back guarantee. I think I should start some programs like that. But to tell you honestly, I was not at all excited. I actually lied down on my swing and slept yesterday. Because I am more excited about the depth, which is going to be real fun. Actually, I'm building a Navagraha garden, 9 planets and their Atmalinga and their deities. In front of each of that Graha, I am going to install a stone piece brought from that Graha by my Balasants. My Balasants will materialize from that Graha a bit of stone from the core of the Graha that will be installed, and whoever wants, do whatever research you want. I am claiming this is from that Graha. You do research. When you are proving, is up to your headache or stomach pain. So I am actually waiting for those moments, all these depth-related games. Come on. You can have some more stories, length-related, games and fun. I welcome Sorbapriya. You can lead few Balasants and Nithyananda Yogam participants to come and share their stories. What's going on in the courtyard? Adhigaranandi Courtyard Chronicle.
Thank you, Swamiji. Actually, I was also too excited about this length dimension. And it's only after hearing Swamiji explain what happens in the depth dimension we realize how shallow our perception of extraordinary powers actually are. But one thing that I'm feeling about the materialization, the manifestation of the length dimension, is that this is something that undisputably every single scientist, mathematician, thinker on the planet, skeptic on the planet has to agree is absolutely impossible unless it's Sadashiva himself manifesting this Shakti into us. So actually coming up on the 15th, there's going to be a program called Shuddhadvaitam, the Gateway to Extraordinary Powers. And during that webinar, Swamiji is going to be answering any questions we might have, giving the full description about what the Shaktis, what the powers of Sadashiva are. And Even this morning, actually, Swamiji went beyond my expectation for this webinar, so who knows how much more is going to be revealed. Actually, the Shaktis, they're not siddhis, as Swamiji has explained to us many times before. They're not something that we do tapas for or practice for. Swamiji has told us already, in this Sangha, practice is like a 4-letter word. It's something that we manifest. How that manifestation happens is through Shaktini Pada, our deep feeling connection with Swamiji. Historically, a lot of us have heard of great mathematicians who could just get theorems or figure things out, or sometimes maybe even channel the numbers, like the great Srinivasa Ramanujan. In his case, the answers were downloaded to him through Lakshmi. But in our case, we see not just the Murti in the temple, not to say that she's just a Murti, but instead of having an Achala Murti, unmoving, we actually see the Sachala Murti, the moving form of Sadashiva himself. Every time a Balasant accurately answers a trigonometry question without having ever previously even heard the word trigonometry, or gives us the distance between 2 stars somewhere way beyond what we can even see through a telescope, when we ask, how did you do this? The answer is inevitably, Swamiji showed it to me. So the fact that we have Swamiji here now in form, giving these powers as easily as some other gurus might give pieces of candy, we really shouldn't miss it. So the Shaktini Pada that Swamiji is making available to all of us, that can only be very, very roughly translated into English as entanglement, that feeling of oneness, that Shuddhadvaitam. This is something all of you can also experience. I've already shared some experiences yesterday that I've had with the Balasants in Adi Karanandi's courtyard. But yesterday, as we were preparing for today's sharing, something really amazing happened. At least for me, I considered it really amazing. Just as we were talking about what all we're going to share on stage today, which breakthroughs happened even beyond the day before, Ma Nandita, one of the Balasants of the Nithyananda Gurukul, came up to me and said, right now, Ma, before we move on, we had somewhere to be at 10 o'clock. This happened at 9:50. She said, sit with me right now, let's entangle and do 2 questions. So we sat down and I told her, let me just Google and figure out which question to ask you. She said, no, I'm going to entangle you. You look into the Krista Shila and you answer 2 questions. She asked me the temperature in New Delhi and the temperature in Finland. And amazingly, the numbers just appeared in that Krista Shila. So I can say for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, when Swamiji says now he's going to initiate the adults into manifesting this Shakti, it's so cool, it happens so easily, and it's only thanks to him. So without further ado, I just want to say don't miss this amazing webinar coming up on the 15th. Swamiji's gurus might have handed him over to their father, to Arunagiri Yogeshwara, Sadashiva himself, to answer their questions. How beautifully he is also giving us Sadashiva himself to answer all of our questions. So don't miss that webinar. It's happening at 9:30 a.m. IST, the 15th of this month, and it's going to be something, again, blowing all of our minds, taking us to the next level. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Sona and Dr. Saraswati and the beautiful Balasant with whom they've been entangling, Ma Pragnyama.
Nithyanandam, my name is Sona Kamat, and I'm a board-certified internal medicine and rheumatology physician in the United States. To give you a little background, in my early career, I spent time doing research at an academic center, training medical students, internal medicine residents, and rheumatology fellows. Over the last 12 years, I've practiced private practice rheumatology, and I'm a very busy rheumatologist. Just to give you an idea of who is now looking at this science. Yesterday, we had one of the most amazing experiences, and we're truly blessed by Swamiji to experience what Ramanujan experienced when the Mukur Mahalakshmi bestowed upon him this gift of math. The last 2 days, we've played with our Balasants and given them very complicated math compounding factors and trigonometry, and their answers are accurate again and again, to the point where when our answer is incorrect, we now look at our calculator and redo our calculation, because most likely we've punched the wrong button, not that they have it wrong. Now, having understood this, yesterday, Ma Pragnana happened to find herself on a team with 2 physicians. So you can see now where my thought process is leading. We looked at her and we said, we know that they can give us all kinds of complicated math answers and distances and whatnot, but can this science, even in the length dimension, go a step further? So we decided to give her medical questions. Now, she looked at us first with awestruck eyes with, what are these people going to do to me? And so we decided to give her first a simple medical question, or what we thought was a simple medical question. We gave her this: for a patient who suffers from an uncomplicated urinary tract infection by the organism E. coli, what would be the treatment? And she looked at us, blinked several times, and then started to write frantically. Now, mind you, both Dr. Saraswati and I were thinking we would get back an antibiotic. We gave her a pen even when she looked initially at us, because we thought she wouldn't be able to pronounce the antibiotic. We thought it may be easier for her to write down the name of the antibiotic. When she started to write frantically, we both stood over her notebook to see what she was writing. And this is what she wrote. Step 1, first test the urine for an infection. Step 2, make sure that the patient drinks plenty of fluids. Step 3, give the patient adequate glucose support. Now this from a Balasant who has no medical background and is so much more accurate.
People are studying medicine.
We had to step back and think about how we're doing things. Now, of course, our wheels are turning. Next thing we know is we're starting to come up with all kinds of questions for her, because we have to rethink how we're doing things. We have to look at medicine again. This is finally happening for medicine. An unbiased, unprecedented event in medicine is happening in our day and age. Thank you, Swamiji, for blessing us.
Nithyananda, my name is Dr. Saraswati Jampala. I'm an internist from Atlanta. Like Sona, I also was a faculty member at Emory and Morehouse University, and now I'm practicing outpatient internal medicine. So I actually enjoy teaching, and I love to see when the students come and then when they evolve later. So that's why I took up teaching at the initial stages of my career. Later, I was practicing private practice. Now I'm into private practice. So the background I just wanted to give. So yesterday when the Balasants came, I was really excited to give medical question, because I myself wanted to see what will come up, what will be revealed in the Kristashila. So when Sona gave first question, I was like so excited to see that, and our interest grew even more to give the interest, because now that we can see, what will be revealed from our field, we were so excited. So I gave another simple question about what would be the treatment, how would you treat bacterial conjunctivitis? And same thing, she has that smiley face and her eyes like that. And then she started writing. And she started writing, and I was looking at 1, 2, 3, and 1 minute, she started writing immediately, and I think 2 minutes it took for her to finish it. Whatever is appearing in the Kristashila, she was seeing and writing. So I actually brought the paper she wrote, so I would read it out actually, what she wrote. She wrote, the treatment for bacterial conjunctivitis I asked for is wash your eyes nicely, check them if they are able to see properly. These are the two, that we do. So the third one she wrote was where I got so much interested in. Train them to see only through the problemed eyes with a surgical eye patch. This I never heard before, but this is revealed to her because the word she used is the surgical eye patch we usually use for some eye conditions. So it's not that something she, just thought out of, it's something that's revealed to it. So I was like, wow, there is something to it that we have to pay attention. And that's when we got even more interested that we want to give her a book with all the list of conditions and see what she'll come up with. She or, any Balasants who can see in the Christashila. We wanted to do that actually because so that we will know what else we can see.
Updated allopathy by Kala Bhairava.
True. Really, I was thinking what else we can ask the gray areas, especially in neurological conditions where we have we don't have answers, some of them. So this is what interests me so much, and I think we will be doing that. And this is the idea that came that when we will give a book, and then we'll ask the list of diagnoses, we'll give, and then they can come up with, and we can write a book with that, what they came up with. That will be nice, I think. So it was very exciting yesterday. And actually, the process how we ended up together in the same team, and the idea was very spontaneous. It was not at all planned. Actually, I was asking somebody, can you come to our group? And they're all in this group. And then Sona happened to have this, so we made a group spontaneously. And we were supposed to have another Balasant with us. And somehow Ma Pragnana came, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, so the whole process was very spontaneous, and spontaneously we thought about giving this actually.
Spontaneity makes it truthful. The whole thing is a truth.
Yeah.
If it is pre-planned, we can always doubt.
Yeah. So it was the whole process also we enjoyed actually. So that's really exciting. Thank you, Swamiji, and thank you, Ma Pragnana. You want to share anything? No? Okay. She said, don't let me talk. I was showing a show. My throat is a little bit painful, so that's what she's told us. Yeah, thank you, Swamiji. Thank you, everyone.
Blessings.
So after hearing Dr. Sona and Dr. Saraswati speak, I think we can say for sure Swamiji has not only rendered the whole psychiatry and psychology industry redundant, he's also updating allopathy to the point that medical school will soon be redundant. So just manifesting the Shakti to diagnose and to treat any medical condition is something that maybe even a couple of weeks ago none of us could have seen as a possibility. And this is just the power that Swamiji is saying he wasn't very excited about, that's leading into the power of depth manifestation. So next I would like to introduce someone who's doing great research with the Balasants and who gave them some very specific tests, including the Mensa test yesterday, Ma Balananda. Along with Ma Kalpalata, the beautiful Balasant, one of the Balasants, who is answering the test questions.
So my name is Ma Nithyananda, and I have a doctorate in educational administration, and I specialize in brain research. And I have been a school principal for 35 years, and unfortunately, what I spent a lot of time doing was suspending students from school because they were in fight or flight. They were agitated, they were fearful, and many of them ended up in prison. And I remember taking one student home with me who I had suspended about 20 times. I'd take him to get coffee at McDonald's just because I wanted to connect with him and bond with him. And he looked at me and he said, you know, Dr. Chance, I really think that if I had some neurological advantagements, I could stay in school. And he used that word, advantagement, and neurological. And what I realized was that there really is no such thing as ADHD or bipolar disorder or any of the other mental disorders that are in the DSM-5. And that it has to do with consciousness. And consciousness is the missing element in education. All that we have done is focus on regurgitation of information and facts. And many students are not in a neurological state to be able to do that. There's a place in your brain that's called the amygdala. And that amygdala causes you to go into fight or flight. As a matter of fact, if you were to take my heartbeat right now, you would see my heartbeat is going a little bit jumpy. This happens to students, this happens to people giving talks, this happens to people in school who are taking tests, who have to memorize all this information. So it's just bogus. All of this stuff that we're identifying kids and labeling kids is bogus. So what I did is, this is Kalpaletta, and Kalpaletta was my Gurukul student that I tested yesterday. And what I did is I did match wits with Mensa. And these are a series of tests in multiple areas. And what Mensa candidates are, these are people who score in the top 2% of any standardized intelligence test, which is the Stanford.
Actually, I wanted to thank Balananda. See, when I started manifesting powers, nobody recorded it like this detail. I'm so happy you are here. When my Balasants are radiating, it is being recorded. Actually, after 10, 20 years only, people will understand the value of all this. Our recording, documentation is very important, which Balananda is doing amazingly. Blessings.
What I'm seeing is a neurological breakthrough.
See, when I started manifesting all this, I was in a village where all these, what you are talking, this word mensandal, I am hearing first time. And I never heard this word. Yesterday only I heard when you brought this book and showed me. Even that CAT exam, SAT exam, all this JEE exam and all, only last few days I am hearing all those words. I never went to university. I created some, but I never went. See, it may be pride in a way to say, I never went to university, I never went to college, I do not know all these things. But if the documentation could have been done, it would have been such an amazing precedence for all these kids to learn. So I am very happy that we are documenting all this now for the next generation to understand and internalize. Even though I have all the joy and pride that I am born and brought up in a village, we missed these documentations. When I say now, you will have to trust based on what I am doing to my Balasants. Based on the Sakshi Pramana, you have to take my word. But for my Balasants, it does not need to be. Already clear documentation is getting done. I am very happy about that.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. So in this Mensa organization, it's the top 2% of the population that has taken this standardized test called Stanford Binet or Wechsler. And you have to be a psychometrist to give these tests. Normal, just a regular everyday person cannot score this test. And these people are paid big bucks. So they took 100 of these people who were Mensa inductees, and they gave them these questions in this book. So what I did yesterday is I gave these questions, 25 general knowledge questions, to Kalpaletta. Kalpaletta. I always mispronounce her name. So
Kalpalata means
Kalpaletta.
Kalpalata. Like a Kalpataru, Kalpalata.
Oh. calculata. So I gave her these 25 questions, and I'm in the courtyard, and people are walking around and you know, talking and singing and picking up things in the courtyard, and it's not an optimal testing situation, and I'm getting slightly irritated because the protocol's not correct. And, you know, I'm getting a little anxious, and my, you know, neurological functioning is getting a little agitated. And she looks at me and says, "What is?"
So yesterday when I was doing the test, when I was in the second question or the third question, when I was seeing the Krishna for the answer, I got the word sweet white wine. And then I asked her what is the meaning of it.
She said, "What is sweet white wine?" And I'm like, why is she asking me about wine? So the question was, your friend gives you some nice barsak. What do you have? And the answer was sweet white wine. Now, it just gets better and better because the story has an evolution to it. What happens is that she gets every single question correct out of all 25. And as we're matching wits with Mensa, this particular question, only 10% of the highest functioning, intellectually functioning people in the world could get. She got it. Are you ready? Where would you be if your hotel bill was charged in marka? The answer, Finland. So 10%
She
of
wrote
this,
in how many seconds the answer?
oh, 2.
2 seconds.
She whipped through the questions regardless of the distractions in the courtyard that I was getting a little angst about. Then, what does a dolometer measure? 17% of the Mensa candidates got this correctly. The answer is pain. What is the old Roman province of Lusitania called today? 10% of the smartest people in the world got this one. It was Portugal. And then,
She got it immediately. How many
Yes.
seconds?
Immediately. She just wrote, this story gets better. This story was getting, me watching this happen was entangling my brain. And, you know, I'm 66 years old, and I'm trying to, you know, maintain my, you know, my intelligence and my body and keep myself in this great shape. And I'm feeling like I can't think any longer because my brain is getting stretched like taffy. Like, I feel like my brain is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and I can hardly even remember how to talk. That's an experience that I was having simultaneously while giving her this test. Do you have to hear this next question? A new word, serendipity, was coined from the title of a book, The Three Princes of Serendip. Where was Serendip? The answer is Ceylon. Only 12% of the Mensa candidates got this question correct. Now, here's the pièce de résistance. This is the best part of this whole testing. It was late last night. It was probably about 11 o'clock, and Calculetta comes up and says, "Give me another test. I want to take another test." So she has her own test book, and it's this chemistry book with these complex formulas and calculations. And I said, "Do you want me to read the questions out to you?" And she says, "No, I'm just going to go over here and sit down and write the answers." So she went over and she sat down, and my brain, the taffy brain, was getting longer and longer. She wrote every single answer correctly without the questions. Now, the practical applicability of this is what I am most interested in. And with this length dimension, this is only one dimension. So knowing what the most poisonous snake in the world is, it will help you to avoid getting snake bitten. Knowing the geological, atmospheric preliminaries to an earthquake will prevent an earthquake. So, a lot of prevention in science will come from the length aspect. But what we're seeing is that that's just one dimension. And that neurologically, what neurologists are saying is we're using less than 10% of our full capacity. So Swami Nithyananda is awakening the non-mechanical parts to our brain. He's awakening parts that all of us have, including that kid that was sitting in the car with me that got suspended from school. Everybody has access to the field of all knowledge, and it's just a matter of time before the whole world is given that that wonderful ability to create the kind of world and the kind of reality that they really want because they're functioning from their peak potential. So thank you so much, Swami Paramahamsa Nithyananda. It's amazing what you're doing for the world. And I invite every parent and every teacher, every person in the world to please come and capture the knowledge that you have to have peak potential in your health and in your relationships and in your test scores especially. So thank you very much.
Especially I am very happy about this proper methods of documentation. See, I was actually always an R&D guy, like my gurus. Very wild, raw, uncut diamond, unpolished diamond, never bothered about documentation, never bothered about properly keeping it protected, preserved. Only very recently we even started collecting and organizing all the items I materialize. Before that, even that we never bothered. I'll just materialize and give it to devotee and they will take it, that's all. Forget about devotees now. Even early days, in Tiruvannamalai, when I started, I should have at least kept few items for future research purposes. Never had that kind of ideas. But now at least I am very happy. All these are getting documented, being properly presented by the people who are specialists in those fields, who have credibility in their fields, who have degree, who have doctorate. All of them are analyzing and all of them are working. I am very happy about it. We may also have to find more and more methodologies to document all this. I think that is the Sarvajñapita work, real Sarvajñapita work. The real Sarvajñapita work is, see, about power manifestation you don't have to bother, it is my job. It's not even, it's more easy for me than picking up a cup and sipping a coffee. To pick up a cup and sip coffee, I will think 20 times later on. But power manifestation, I will not even go for a second thought. Done, next. So that will not be a problem. That is too easy. That is as easy as I am breathing. But we will have to find a proper methods in documenting all this. The comparative studies, documentation, taking it to the whole world. Say, I am not even looking at this whole thing in impression, means impressing others. No. In 1 month I will establish all these are reality. How I established already third eye is reality, non-controversially reality. Same way, this length dimension powers within next month I will completely establish that this is a reality. I am not interested in that. I am interested in how all these can raise the quality of the human beings on the planet Earth. How it can be useful further. How it can be useful further. How all these can be used further. I am looking at that only. I am looking at that. Maybe we will have to do more and more research like this Mensa tests all the international standard tests, international standard research models, internationally accredited, acknowledged, accepted testing and analyzing, researching methodology should be brought. Under that standards, under those frameworks, all these need to be documented and recorded. I think that will be the real job of Sarvanyapita. Say, by the time I move these kids to the breadth, they will master all the arts. When I move them to the depth, they will reveal all, not only reveal, they will operate all these olden days plane circuits, all that they will reveal. Whatever Bharadwaja's Vimana Shastra, Vaimanik Shastra, the underwater ships, all that science circuits they will reveal, and they will be able to manipulate and manifest and operate. Because all that belongs to depth, cognition. Of course, it will be surprising for you guys. So when I do it, it will be shocking. Okay. And when a kid starts mastering the depth dimension, he can just be tuned to the depth of the frequency of the Vedas. He can just spell out, vibrate the whole Vedas. It can be recorded, documented. See, not just the voice, even the frequency can be documented. Nowadays, a lot of modern machines have come with which we can document the whole frequency. I think these are all the job of the Sarvanyapita. The real Sarvanyapita, this is the job Sarvanyapita need to do. Come on.
I think we're becoming accustomed to having our minds blown here. So, how amazing. Next to share, I'd like to invite Ma Bodhana, Ma Vedanta, and Ma Shakti Rupa, as well as the beautiful Balasant with whom they were working, Ma Atma Maya.
This one's not working. Nithyanandam, Nithyananda Bodhana. I'm a chief Kotari of Ohio, but I also have been teaching in the local public school for the last 6 years, the high school. And first I want to talk about 3 aspects of education that now I'm talking from a parent perspective, as a parent that I was introduced to. So my husband is a teacher, and for 12 years he taught in the most elite school in Dayton, Ohio, that cost the same as college tuition. So this is the top kids. Even though those kids were maybe coming up with similar test scores as some of these kids, they were doing it at great cost. Most of these kids were in some type of therapy. Most kids were living without parents because the parents were working to create the income to put them in the school. And most of these kids were depressed on some type of antidepressant and were suicidal. So this is the consequence of trying to be having the kind of information these guys are getting just like that. So my husband and I hadn't had our kids yet, and we made a decision that this was not the type of school we wanted our kids in, even though we could have had free tuition at this school. So we moved, and my husband went to almost the opposite. He went to a private school where I'm not saying that it's the breadth and depth dimension that's being inserted, but this school was based only on breadth and depth. The idea was that if the kids had a quality experience and they were in charge of their own learning and owned their own learning, then the logic things would just start happening. And the idea was that given a child from age 4 to age 12, reading will happen, math will happen. Give them the space, the trust, and the ownership of their learning, and that will happen. So this was the beautiful environment that we were able to have our 2 daughters go to school, a really beautiful learning environment. Now, at age 12, they have to go to a new school. And so we moved to Delaware, Ohio. The school they attended is a public school, and I can say most of American kids probably attend a school like this. Middle, maybe slightly upper middle, but definitely lower middle class. in this school, so my daughters started going, and after about a month, my oldest daughter, Asha, said, Mom, you've got to come to school and see what I'm living with, what I'm dealing with. So I went to school with her one day, and it honestly was atrocious. The language, you go through the school with your elbows out so that you're not pushed and shoved. It was really a horrific environment. And she asked me to actually become a substitute teacher in that school in a way just to know what's going on. So that's what I started doing 6 years ago, is working in the high school. So what that's leading me up to is that one thing that Swamiji has says caused the most violence in the world is test taking. So the concept I'm going to give right now is chemistry. All these kids have to learn the periodic table, and they have to learn the compounds, they have to learn the number of atoms in a molecule of an element. And I, as a substitute teacher, see kids struggle and struggle and struggle with this. They take the test, they fail. Because these are average kids. They're not top scoring kids. They don't have a parental support, they don't have community support, they don't have school support. They take the test again, and you know how many times a fail happens before it really comes. Now here we come to Atma Maya. So yesterday we're searching around for new categories, new challenges. What should we have her do? So Shakti Rupa and I were thinking, let's do some chemical elements. Now, Atma Maya doesn't even know what a what a chemical element is yet, or what an atom is, or a molecule. I mean, at some level she does, but the whole thing was just brand new. So we just started with how many atoms in a molecule of oxygen. Now Swamiji says when it's truly happened, it's a flash. The minute the question's there, they just write. There's no gap at all. And this is what happens. She just writes the number down, and we're like, oh my God. And she doesn't even know what these things are. So we asked just 3 of these, number of atoms in a molecule of oxygen, hydrogen, and I'm not sure the other one. She just got all 3 like this. I was just thinking, why the struggle in these high schools across the United States, probably around the world, the struggle for this, and then in those elite schools, the struggle. There's absolutely no reason for it. And with all of us that are being held in Swamiji's womb, being able to go across the globe and start spreading this, and letting everyone know the possibility that exists so that we can start literally destroying this education model that is destroying people. That's what I want to see happen. So Atma Maya has been my entanglement person, and then just a little sharing of what happened for me yesterday. Yesterday I had a few outside things to handle, like getting a new flight ticket home, because I'm staying longer than I anticipated. I needed to do some things. And I kept thinking, I've got to do that, and then here we are in the courtyard entangling. And again, I'd want to leave and go work on that, but I kept saying to myself, all right, I'm entangling to get out of this L thing. This is all the L thing that have been so comfortable in my life with. The length, the logic that actually has done damage to me because I haven't been able to get to breadth and depth. So again and again, I just said, just sit, just stay entangled, that all the other things will work out. So all that Swamiji is giving us, if we just keep applying it to our own process right there in the courtyard, we're going to just be seeing breakthrough after breakthrough, and I'm looking forward to today's breakthrough. So thank you very much, and I'll pass the mic.
Nithyananda, my name is Ma Vedanta. I have just submitted my PhD thesis in computer science from NTU in Singapore. And it's been a great blessing to be working and be a part of Nithyananda Yogam. And yesterday in the Shakti Nipata, or the entanglement process, we were with Ma Atma Maya. I'd like to add on to what Ma Bodhana was saying. We picked up riddles. And best part is Ma Atma Maya says, pick the level hard. Don't go to the easy ones. So we went to the hardest levels, and we took more than 20 of them. And I remember each of them, she was able to see the answers in less than 10 seconds. Some of them in just 2 seconds. Like, she just gets the answer in front. And in fact, to tell you, even to decode what a riddle is, I think I would take about at least 15 minutes to understand what the question is, forget alone getting the answer to it. So it was very complex, and I'm sure the others would agree with me. And the other thing which we did was very interesting. was patterns on cards. So there were like about 18 cards with some patterns, and you have to tell what the 18th card would be. So you need to look at the pattern and then say what the last one is. And we did 6 of them. Each of them, she got it in 2 seconds. And it's very complex. When I opened the answers for each of them, they give like a huge algorithm how to do it. First, you need to do this, multiply, divide, add, something, something. The answer is so long, but she was just able to see the answer in like 2 seconds. I think that was amazing. And in this whole process, I could experientially feel that the neurons in my brain were being mirrored. Something was happening inside me. And I felt a lot energetic and so excited about the whole thing. And I feel like my logic was completely broken and shattered. And maybe convinced about the whole thing at my biomemory level. And I'm very grateful to Swamiji for this experience. Thank you.
Nithyanandam. My name is Ma Nithya Shaktirupananda, and I graduated from college about a year ago. And the last few days when we were doing the Shaktinipada with the Balasants and seeing them manifest these powers, what Shaktirupa was feeling is literally the logic is like a poor man's way of functioning. And how Swamiji, how this place is literally the source of everything. Actually, yesterday and the day before, how casually we were manifesting the powers. Like literally, if it was in the outside world, we'll be like, we didn't even feel that it was such a big thing. But only today when we were walking here and talking about it, we're like, oh my God, literally the whole knowledge, they are just getting it and like nothing. So literally, for anyone, like if you want to get like 10 degrees, 20 degrees, whatever names you want, I think you should just come to the ashram, just think which ones you want, and stay here for a few months, and just come back and go and pass all those tests and go back with 10 degrees, 20 degrees. So that was what the feeling was, Shakti was feeling. And yesterday, Ma Bodhana and both of them were saying, Ma Atmamaya, like we are giving chemistry problems, and simply we are actually Shakti Rupa was giving her a problem about isotopes, and she doesn't even know what isotopes are. And simply she just like told the answer. She was like, oh, A, B, oh, C, like that. And and it was so fast. She got it like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and it was so beautiful to see the whole thing. And so that was what. So when Swamiji was saying about how Ramanujam, how he just manifested the whole length dimension, like how the Balasants are manifesting, he never understood how he got the answer because he was only awakened in length dimension. So now that these Balasants are going to be awakened in all the dimensions, it is literally going to be like they're going to know everything. So it is so exciting to see how it is so casually expressing in them, and how the whole, everyone is going to manifest this in the next few years. So that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
I just want to share one last thing. Ma Swarupa Priya thought it would be interesting for you all to see the kind of booklets we're using. So we have just little pieces of paper, and they're just filled with questions and answers. What we do is one person sets the timer when we have the question ready, and our routine is we go 3, 2, 1, go, and then the timer goes. And then the first thing we do, she does, is she marks the second at the end, just to make sure that the actual pace is documented. That's the first thing. Then sometimes she's actually going on to the fourth question in the time it takes for us to get the answer to the one we've asked. I'm not sure if there can be a close-up, but I was so really happy with this. I had given her a problem of a square root sequence. And the question says, finish the sequence. I didn't tell her it was square root. And just like Ma Vedanta said, this is extremely complex, the way the answers are given. So I wrote down 1, 4, 9, 16, and the next answer was 25. I gave her the sheet. We go 3, 2, 1, go. And she immediately wrote 25. I mean, there was no gap. I couldn't believe it. The number 25 she's just writing. Then she writes 36, and then the last one. It was so amazing. There's just no gap at all. The question's there and the answer's there. So it's truly mind-blowing. Thank you all for listening.
Also, one more thing. Actually, yesterday only Atma Maya started manifesting this Shaktis. And when she first started, we were giving her complicated math questions. And she would put like a 10-digit number. She would just write what she sees. And when she first started, all of it was wrong. Like, you know, like the full number. But the only thing she was looking at was the time she was taking. She was like, oh, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, like how it was reducing. And she was not even bothered that she was getting it right or wrong. She was like, it's manifesting. And just like that, within maybe half an hour, we gave, Shaktirupa gave her an algebra question. And simply she just got the answer. And from then on, she just kept getting answers. So, like how Ma Bodhana talked about it yesterday, it was so beautiful to entangle with them and see how they just keep going without getting tired and without ever getting bored. Actually, the last 2 days, they kept asking us, give us more questions, give us more questions. We were like only a little tired once in a while and everything. So, just thank you.
It's only here in Nithyananda Peetham, Bengaluru Adinam, where the ones giving the exams and asking the questions are getting anxious and agitated and nervous, and the ones actually answering the questions are so casual and excited asking for more. As Swamiji said, the greatest source of stress, anxiety, depression that's plaguing humanity are these standardized tests given in the Western education system. It's so great that instead of just identifying the problem, Swamiji is giving such a fun, exciting, instant solution. So next I would like to invite Jaina and Michelle with the Balasant, whom they were questioning. Vidya Maharaj. Sorry. Dhyana Maharaj. Sorry, Maharaj.
Nithyananda, everyone. My name is Jaina Tang from Singapore, and we have Michelle here, my teammate, and we have Diana here, our Balasants. Actually, we have a group of 4 people. 2 more is not here. So we have Ma, Dharma, and also David. We had so much fun yesterday, again, with Balasant here, Diana. So we started with, whenever Swamiji say, start the process, we all rushing to get our Balasants, and that was something that we have to jump on because the Balasants are taken if you didn't act fast. So we got him. And you don't know what surprises you're getting into until you have the Balasant into your group. That was the experience, right? So we have several questions we started asking him, and he sat down. He was not actually looking at the Krishna like where I say that. He just looked up, and he got most of the answer right. So I'm going to have Michelle share a few of the questions he got right, and then I'll share the rest, and then I'll continue to share the other things. Yeah. So you just share the few questions first. Yeah.
So we started off with questions, asking him temperature questions. I asked him what was the temperature in Toronto, and he got it in 5 seconds. It was 4 degrees. So I thought I was going to be smart and say, well, in Canada, it's cold right now. It's winter. What's the temperature in Vancouver, which was -4? And he gave it to me in Fahrenheit, and when we converted it, it was -4. I also asked him what was the time in London, and he got it in 7 seconds, and it was 11:19. While working with him, he started off 2 minutes and getting faster and faster and faster to the point where he sat there and he looked at our group and he says, I'm manifesting. More and more as he goes on, it's like us being impressed with him, and he's impressed too with the and it's taken us so much time to get these questions to ask him, and the answers just come out so fast.
That's right. And also there's one incident I need to share. This is so fun. So Swamiji is saying about this Shaktini Pada, which I just learned this word now, I'm getting it. In fact, we're experiencing it as we work with the Balasant, and he worked with us. Not work. It's really casual and fun. So much laughter. And at one point, actually, he took 3 breaks to the toilet. So we like, okay, when he goes, we say, where's our Balasant? Is he coming back? We really want him to come back. So when he came back, he said, let us do this. So he just suggested, he said, I'm going to entangle you guys. I'm going to ask you questions. I said, are you sure? We're not ready yet. Are you sure? He said, yes, let's do it. So he has such leadership quality and all this, telling us what to do, and we really listen in. So, by the way, he's age 12, and he's been 6 years around with Swamiji's Gurukul school, yeah? That's right. So he asked us question on particularly the temperature. So he enjoyed the temperature question. So he said, because we've never been to Kumbh Mela, he asked, what's the temperature in Kumbh Mela? We're like, okay, what do we do? So we tune in, we look at him, we really stare, and he really like staring at this, third eyes. And somehow we got it right. So I got to Kumbh Mela, 42 degree, and Michelle got the one temperature in Tamil Nadu. Is that right? Tamil Nadu. At 31 degrees Celsius. So that was great. It was really Shaktini Pada success. And then, you see, I lost my voice because I laughed so much with them. So then, continuing with other questions, we have asked him, what is the time in Tokyo right now as differences? No, what's the time in Tokyo? Is that right? What's the time? Tokyo. Time difference between Tokyo and India. So he wrote 345. So we say 345 what? Is it minutes or hours? So he didn't say minutes or hours. Then we calculated. Actually, he's giving us the difference. Tokyo and India difference, which is correct, which is 3 hours and 45 minutes at that time, the difference. So that was really something. That was correct. And it took only 10 seconds to do that, the difference. Then one more question he took out was, how high is the Niagara Fall, the height? Niagara Fall, that's right, in Canada. And he took only 3 seconds. The answer was accurate, 56 meters. So yeah, Diana really made us enjoy so much. And we're looking forward to have more fun with him. And this is really something I want to also say. I have a small realization. I have 6 nephews back home, ranging from age 15, 10. I can't even remember my nephew ages, 6 of them. So he reminds me of my nephew at home, which is big gap, big difference in the reality of things in where they come from. My nephew, they are always on the game. They're not moving. It's just not moving their body. My sister is the parent. I have to push them to eat their food, chase them, and nag at them. So much effort just to move their butt. Seriously, I really wish I can really, with Swamiji blessing, with 6 nephews to send to your Gurukul school, hopefully at one point. Yeah, that's all I want to share. Thank you. Yes.
Next, I'd like to invite Mamta and Vinay.
Nithyanandam, everybody. We don't have the Yoga Mata today with us. She's traveling for some program. So, for a demo. Yesterday, I really did not do justice to what she has actually revealed. So I wanted to come back and share more details about what she told us when she looked at the Christosila. We asked about 30 questions, and out of 30 questions, such an outstanding strike rate, 29 questions were perfectly answered. And the one question that she said she did not get it wrong, I don't want to use the word she got it wrong. She said, it is blurring. The answers are blurring. I'm not able to see it properly. This is what she said. So, such an amazing cognition. She said she's not getting, she did not say, I'm not getting it. She said, the answers are blurring. I'm not able to put it properly. And the most, whenever Swamiji said Hinduism is real, I used to wonder what it means. From which context is he talking that Hinduism is real? But today, when we are sitting in Swamiji's courtyard and seeing all the children, left, right, center, giving such precise answers to the questions which they are not even aware of. The knowledge, they don't even have the knowledge or the education or the have they read about any of these in their textbooks? Such answers, and it's less than, it's between 5 seconds to less than 50 seconds. The answers are just being revealed. And when for Yoga Mata, when I asked a particular question about the planetary transits, I'm still not able to comprehend that the Panchika, the astrology, refers, they go back, refer the date, time, the movement of the planets to predict or to forecast the planetary transit for the next calendar year. So I just asked her, give me the planetary transits, dates of a few planets, and she wrote the transit dates so perfectly that when I went back, Googled the answers, they were all just perfect. Absolutely no error at all. No error. In fact, the most surprising part is, for all the planets, she gave the date and the month. For Jupiter, she gave the time. She wrote September 12th, 2017, 6:50 a.m., which was so precise. So I asked her, why did you not write the time for the rest of the planets and only for Jupiter you wrote the time? She said, because Swamiji is my guru, you see. He is showing the transit of the guru with the perfect time. So we have all heard that in the mythology, we have heard that the mastery that Arjuna had, or the Ekalavya had, and how everything was revealed to, everything as the whole thing was happening. Yudhishthira was being told about the whole commentary which was happening at a different place. All this we have read it as a story, and we have also seen a lot of mythological movies. But today, when we see these children doing the same thing without not much of great training, nothing at all. They're so relaxed, so calm, and such humility they carry. They're just as is. There are no pretensions when they tell the answer. There is no great excitement. Nor if they don't get the answer, if the answers are blurred or whatever, they don't get sad about it also. It's just that this moment they're able to see and they're able to share it. Thank you so much, Swamiji. Thank you so much for bringing me here to experience this. Thank you so much.
See, they are taught only one thing, integrity. Integrity to what you are shown by Kalabhairava. They all know it is not their pride. They neither need to feel sad or elate about anything. It doesn't, you don't need to become powerless by anything. What Kalabhairava is showing, be integrated to it. If he is not showing, be integrated to that. So that way, all the personal suffocation is removed. All the personal powerlessness is removed. They just flow with me, that's all.
Nithyanandam, my name is Vinay, and I was also part of the team. And I could see what Swamiji is saying, that all the time my Yoga Mata was so relaxed, so playfully playing, as if we are just having some games, not having any anxiety or anything. But I also would like to add that we asked a wide range of questions. I asked her, like, where the pancreas is in the human body. And she exactly, precisely said it's between kidney and liver, exactly explained that. But then looking at the accuracy of her answers, which I was so surprised and amazed, I said, let me ask her about life in Mars. And we were supposed to ask her questions which we could verify. I said, well, let's see what you see, because then it's NASA's job to verify and prove you wrong. So, and she looked at it and she said, I can see the life. And I said, what they look like? She said, they look like more like human beings. And I said, well, now NASA has a challenge to really see whether they can find that life there or not. So it's amazing, Swamiji has invited the whole world's children, anybody between 7 years of age to 21, to come and experience his Gurukul. I wish all my relatives, families, my children, my grandchildren, they will experience that. And not only that, when everybody is saying that we are also going along with that into that space. And then I was able to see some numbers, some figures, some shapes. And seems like within few days, I will be also able to answer many of these questions. So everybody says that has to. Swamiji, thank you so much. And with your blessings, everything's going to happen. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least to share today, I'd like to invite Sri Nithya Alokananda, Sri Nithya Dhritananda, and Sri Nithya Sahadevananda.
Nithyanandam, everyone. My name is Sri Nithya Alokananda. I can't say I'm qualified in any high academic sort of course, but I finished high school, which is really enough of an experience to know that what's happening here is completely unprecedented. What's happening here in Swamiji's home, in Sadashiva's home, is completely beyond everything, completely just blowing my mind. I can truly attest to what he's saying, that since Sadashivoham, a new species is being created here. So yesterday I was partnered with Shiva Shankara Maharaj, and he'd actually been asked a question about Mars. How many humans are on Mars? And within less than 10 seconds, he answered 6. And this was interesting, so I Googled the answer, and there is no, real evidence that there's humans on Mars, but there was a link that led to an article talking about a group of people in Utah who had found some land and were able to create a simulation of Mars. So they're literally there experiencing what it's like to live on Mars, and the number of people there is 6 experiencing that. So, like this, I was just looking around in the courtyard, sitting there going, these kids are they're beyond what we can comprehend. They're answering these questions that are so far reaching, so beyond their age. And I'm kind of jealous. I spent 18 years in high school, 12 years in high school, it's 12 years in school, trying to understand what the X means in algebra. What does that equal to? Why are there letters in mathematics when you told me in year 1 that it's all about numbers? It's completely beyond me, and I'm so blessed and so happy to be here. We really need to let the world doesn't know this is coming. Most of the world doesn't know this is happening, and it's our job to let the world know that this is happening, that this is coming, not just for them to hear it, not just for them to witness it, but for them to be here and experience it. Swamiji has said that this is for the whole humanity. His suitcase is going to pour it on everyone, right? So it's for everyone. We're all going to manifest this. The entire humankind, the whole planet is going to be a new species. Swamiji is the answer to the delusion of the world. These Balasants are the answer. We are the answer. We are the revolution and the evolution. So thank you very much, Swamiji.
Nithyanandam, everyone. My name is Sahadeva. I'm a college student from Los Angeles. And I partnered up with the Balasant. His name is Subhagnana. He is absolutely amazing. So yesterday, or day before, actually, I asked him, what is the rotational speed of Earth? And come on, there's no way that you can get that in 10 seconds. It was 1,040 miles per hour. Without any calculations, just literally 10 seconds, just wrote it down, casually sitting down and just gave me the piece of paper. And actually the experience that I was having is that it was like a mirror that I was looking at. I was looking at myself, and then this logic in which I'd functioned in my life, it just completely shatters it all. And then this feeling of bliss, the amazement of, you know, as a child, you feel like everything is possible, and that's the feeling that I was feeling at that moment. Just everything is possible, and just seeing him just mesmerize me, and I mean, he's absolutely amazing. So that was my experience.
Nithyananda, my name is Sri Nithya Dridananda, and just right now is the first time I've actually publicly announced my new spiritual name, and so just a little background for some people that are questioning, like, why do you have a spiritual name? And my old name, Jordan Kremer, it's just this idea of a person that is so limited and so locked in this reality that's completely false. It's just a way for me and for everybody else around here to just drop everything that you know about yourself, because none of it's true. When you get to sit in the courtyard with these Balasants and get entangled with them and start to flow with what Swamiji is providing us, you start to believe and experience that, oh my goodness, I'm completely, everything I've learned is completely false, and we are so much more powerful than we believe we are. When you look at evolution for the human race, it's not this consistent, level and slow progression. What happens is you grow, and then at some point there's this conscious shift, and it just spikes all of a sudden, and then it grows again, and then all of a sudden it just spikes, whether it's a conscious shift or a technological discovery or anything like that. And for all you people out there, this is that quantum leap that's happening right now. I have a brother back home, and just like 5 minutes before this interview or this stage, coming up on the stage, my brother and I had a video call, and he just had a child. He just had his first baby, and I completely was melting, and just all I was thinking was, Swamiji, please bless this child, bless like every child out there to come and experience this. This is the future. Like, we need to all be in his presence. We need to all be experiencing this reality, because whether you choose to or not, it's going to happen. And it's like being a part of Apple. When Apple first came out, you could be an early adopter and be the world's richest man, or you could be a fool and decide not to jump on board. This is that opportunity for anybody out there. Bring your children, come with and experience this as well, because there is an entanglement process, meaning all of a sudden you just kind of pick things up, and it starts flowing through you as well. I'm the most logical person in the world, and for whatever reason I can't necessarily manifest as quickly as I want with third eye reading or anything like that. And then yesterday, I got all these guys around me, and I had about 3 or 4 playing around with me and just surrounding me, and I was really playing with this entanglement process, and all of a sudden I actually started to see things. I got Sahadeva. He goes, what's my favorite number? And I was like, just right away, I'm like, I'm seeing 13. And he goes, bro, that's right. That's all it is. It's just this higher consciousness flowing through you. It's Swamiji. It's nothing to do with my identity of who I believe myself to be. And so drop every logical explanation of why we're dressed the way we are, or why we wear this vibhuti or anything like that, and just come and experience this and be a part of this shift, this absolutely amazing opportunity to elevate along with humanity. And all thanks to Swamiji. Thank you.
So I agree 100% with what Dhritananda said. Just like anybody who was around when Apple was new or Microsoft was new, if they didn't invest, they must be kicking themselves now because they could be billionaires by now. When it comes to super consciousness and expressing powers, this is the place to be. Now, very beautifully, Swamiji is opening this up not just for children, not just for Balasants, but also for adults. And the ticket for you, the key to unlock that door into the manifestation of extraordinary powers, is a beautiful program that you've heard me talk about time and time again, that all of us who have experienced it will again and again tell you you can't miss. and that's inner awakening. See, historically, there have been a lot of people who have been labeled as geniuses, or children who have been called prodigies. Typically, we'll look at prodigies and geniuses and we'll think it's some kind of an anomaly. There's a whole branch of genetics, eugenics, trying to discover how you can guarantee that a child is going to be a genius, by combining the right kinds of parents together. There are entire streams of science dedicated to trying to make a child express high intelligence or be able to memorize facts more quickly or be able to produce beautiful pieces of music very fluently. But ultimately, science has never yet discovered how it can be done. We'll still see a prodigy and think it's something isolated. There's a little boy right now in India who has gone viral on YouTube, and they're calling him Google Boy, because like Google, you can ask any fact-based question, and he'll be able to give an answer. We also know, of course, as has been mentioned, Srinivas Ramanujan, who was able to actually prove infinity, which at the time the leading mathematicians considered to be impossible. But we've never before seen two Ramanujans come together in the same place, or two Google boys come out of the same community. It is literally only here where you see child after child after child after child after child. After child come to the stage, and this is just a small number of the Balasants. All of them are doing it. This is the only place where geniuses, prodigies are not an anomaly. It is a scientifically proven reality. And of course, the science is something far, far, far more advanced than what we would call modern science, because it is from the Vedagamas. This is the science revealed by Sadashiva himself in the Agama. Now, if scientists are investigating a child prodigy, somebody who can, for example, win a game of chess against any opponent, or who can recite back pi to whatever decimal, that scientist might feel, okay, this child has an extraordinary ability, but that child will never be able to look at the doctor investigating him or her and say, now, entangle with me and you can do it too. That's also something that literally on planet Earth only happens here through the grace of our beloved Guru Deva, His Holiness Bhagavan Paramahamsa Shri Nithyananda Swamiji. I don't request all of you or urge all of you to come for inner awakening, because that would be redundant at this point. You've seen what these Balasants are able to do. You've also heard from a few of us adults that through the entanglement with them, through the Shaktini Pada, we've also been able to just instantly see answers to questions we could not have previously accessed the answers to without a Google search or a calculator. If we're able to do it, you're also able to do it. All you need is the initiation from Swamiji. And that initiation will be given at Inner Awakening. It would be crazy to miss it. So the next Inner Awakening will be happening February 26, 2017. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much, Swamiji, for letting us be here during this unbelievable time. And that's all. Thank you so much.
So, I think that's all for now. I'll come back to you guys with some more things in further satsangs. I bless you all. Let you all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhadvaita Saivam, Sadashivoham, the eternal bliss, Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.